I like to give 4 claps for perfection. You have to go above and beyond the Call of Duty, basically. Get your transition, make it look flawless. I've given like 30 of those out ever in maybe 20 years of coaching. So those are hard to come by and rare. So if you get like a 2.5 or 3 or 3.5, feel good about yourself. You accomplished, you got through the move and it was right, and you could work on the elements still. So anyone want to come out with their partner and demonstrate? Yeah, let's see it. You want to do your foot sweep, right? Okay. Pressure. Beautiful. Okay. Really good. Did you see the control of how he held on to his partner and got the right timing, moving laterally? Didn't bend over, didn't look down. It wasn't like traumatic. Great job. What's your name again?
Hunter.
Hunter. Let's give 3.75. I don't know what you could have gone for 4. I just can't give a 4 out right now. Okay. So who else wants to come out with their partner? Come on. Yeah. Perfect. We're going a bump, slide by shrug, or foot sweep. Oh, foot sweep. Perfect. The higher degree of difficulty, the higher score. Yes, we accomplished our goal, the flat backing human. But more control. And turn to your side on that back, that brake foot. You can already feel your pain right now with your hands on your lower back. So falling on your side is important. Like rotating and going to your far side or even your near side. Just not flat, because that's like a wind knocked out, a brain shake, or a lower back explosion. But really good timing on that foot sweep. Let's give 3.25. All right, who else wants to come? Yeah, let's do it. Foot sweep, I'm guessing? Or?
No, we should do the bump.
There we go. Diversifying.
So I'm going to call you. And then you come on the other side?
Not bad. Good job. Let's go again. And this time, instead of like chasing his back, let's pull him through and behind us. So we're really going to focus on like rotating and kind of ole, right? So if I feel on the head, go right arm on the head, right arm on the head. Do you see how it happened behind me? Because I pivoted and rotated and lifted my elbow, right? So go the opposite side. So if it's her right arm, your right arm on the head. Or left, left. Okay. Yes, you got it. Not bad. Good job. Still like lean back a little and let it come to you. Yeah, rather than chasing it. That's hard to lean back and do this. Not bad. Now make a fist and like hit that. Like right here. Like if I feel this, like if you're stiff and strong and leaning forward, come forward. Like that level of like firmness on that forearm instead of kind of like loose or even trying to duck under it. I saw a lot of people ducking under this rather than pulling them and rotating, which is hard to do a duck under on someone who's low or with their elbows in.
Right.
Good job though. We'll go 3.25. All right, maybe one more. Come on. Nope. Yeah. We're going foot sweep, slide by.
You don't want no one else did it.
Okay, the slide by. High degree of difficulty. We're looking for a big score. Let's go again, and this time have your thumb face the outside. Kind of frame and see it and make it stiff just like our forearm bump. It can't just be like lackadaisical. It's like a quick twitch movement. Yes, now rotate, pivot. Good, not bad. Now the goal is to make that tricky instead of like showing your cards before that movement, right? So if you're on my head, like drive in a little, get the little bit feeling back and shove that thing through, right? That was good. Let's go 3.33. If you feel like you're getting value out of these videos, make sure to like and subscribe. And now back to the video. All right, so as far as like the content today, we did a limited scope, more conceptually for foot sweeps. Like, get to understand how your foot and your lead leg could be your superpower. Where it's almost like a glitch in the matrix where in wrestling terms, you're going and bypassing a lot by just sweeping someone's feet. And in jiu-jitsu too, because you could kind of like forego a lot if you flat back someone and you put them on their back unwillingly. There's like a moment where that happens where the world is your oyster. You could like go to mount, knee on belly, you could transition to submissions without having to go through all the meticulous ways to pass a guard or take them down to their butt and then look how to get out of half guard. It's just a good way to kind of almost be random, have a good foot sweep. It really is a cheat code. So a lot of this was conceptual, but get those numbers in. I remember, you know, I was about to get married. They're starting the music. And my normal like warm-up dance for just being nervous before a match, I was like full throttling my foot sweeps. Just like my nervous tick is like using my feet. So I don't say it gets to that degree with you guys, but start to like, you know, stand on one foot while you're watching the commercials and just like scrape them out with your pinky. Get like balanced on a foot really well. Because that's the hardest part. If you just like do foot sweeps but you're not comfortable being on one foot, it's going to be a long road. Just got to get comfortable, you know, being on that back foot instead of your lead leg in your stance. Hard to do foot sweeps with your weight on your lead leg like a wrestler. Whereas, you know, judo, your weight's a little bit distributed to that back leg. So there's like drawbacks there. People shoot in on you and you still have to be able to react because your weight's on your back foot. So you got to be ready for that. You got to learn how to down block. You got to still do the little things. This is just like a concept of how to attain, you know, possible most efficient movement with the foot sweep. So you still got to learn the gray areas of pummeling, tying up, moving someone, getting that off balance with kazushi, and then finding your foot sweep. But today was like showing you the door maybe, how to make those contact points. Any questions about anything tonight or just anything in general that you might have had problems with? Yeah.
I started with striking, so even though I'm right-handed in life, I transitioned into grappling with my left leg forward.
Yeah. Very
but
common.
I can do both. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times, if there's another person with their left leg forward, all of a sudden I get jammed up on all of my entries and all of my throws, and then I have to switch into my right side.
So totally like identity crisis.
Yeah. And so, do you have any tips or any like advice on like where I should be starting if I'm watching your feet? Like what grips you would get with gi, anything like that?
So gi stuff, kind of, or both, just both. Where's two at? Would he still perfect? So say we're both leading with our left foot. This is where you're talking about.
Yeah.
So my brother and me are both lefties, even though me and my brother are both righties. So my dad, when I was young, was like, no, this is less familiar or unorthodox in grappling. That's who you are. So even though I'm right-handed, I am like in the anomaly kind of here. So yeah, I get it. Like I gotta figure out ways if I want to do foot sweeps to make him step back. There's a bunch of ways to do that. Like whether I literally go out and touch it and I find that foot sweep in transition, whether I circle away from it and now that foot is right there to the lead, or if I learn to foot sweep this inside foot, Houchi-gari, like instead of like Dayashi, like how do I like step to make those contact points or step away from it and pull him to make that foot sweep, those kind of things. So it's not like it's over for you, just stay the course. I said, if you're this old, like try not to get too like move collecting. I'm a lefty, I gotta do these moves, I'm a righty, I gotta do these moves. Kind of stay the course, left leg forward, and get acclimated to that life, whether it's shooting or sweeping or defending, and then build on that rather than like I got moves here, now I got moves here, now I'm confused because I don't know you're in your head too much by then, right? So get solid on one side foundationally and build around that rather than like, it's tiring to know all these moves rather than like a system where it's like, oh, I'm leading with this foot, let's move this way, let's down block, let's attack with that foot and that side, and things gel together quicker than like I know all these random moves. But yeah, that's how I think with that. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite pin from transition from a takedown to hold on the ground? A favorite pin to...
Yeah, I mean, if I'm doing like a forward throw, sometimes it's tough because like with an overhook, it's easier to do throws like Harai Goshi, Uchimata, and then that leaves you pinning kind of on the wrong side. So you have to learn ways to get to the other side. Like if I just go on your back real quick too. I'm here a lot of times on finishes, or Harai, Osoto, Uchimata, where this isn't the best. Because like he's gonna grab my waist and now it's like dog fight stuff. So I gotta learn to add a movement to the end of my pinning combos. And I've developed two. that I really like using when I finish with a lot of throws, because I do more throws with an overhook. So when I finish with an overhook, a lot of times I'm gonna step over their head and rotate to the far side. So now I'm in like a judo side control, basic Tommy with an underhook. A lot more options for transition here than here. That'll be one, big one. So if I throw another way with this wizard, right? I throw, I sit through, and I go to a double leg through to the leg. Now I can step over and work my way back up. So within my throws, built in are those kind of two finishes, whether I feel stepping over is available or doing like a full-on 180 back to their legs. So if I were to throw two with whatever forward, let's say it's a Hirai Goshi, like I have this, kind of normal, where I throw it, a lot of times I'll like rotate all the way through, rather than like try and control this head in like this slow death possibly, especially someone stronger. It's a hard finish there. Stepping over in a mount, that's hard. They're gonna kind of win that battle of attrition slowly. Or I throw, you know, whatever throw Uchimata, where I'm throwing it and they turn back into me and I'm stuffed in the face and rotating to the far side. Kind of like a long step pass. Those two are like automatic build into moves. Especially more wrestling conscious, jiu-jitsu conscious, where the end result must be control. Rather than judo where I won the match. I just threw them, cool, next round. Where it's not really as applicable. So you got to learn that next step of transitions, which those would be my two favorite from an overhook. We could get into cartwheeling and some crazy stuff too, but you kind of got to have those attributes built in to be able to like flips and stuff. But that would be another good one, like a cartwheel over the Uchimata, over the Hirai Goshi.
I tend to mid-throw separate and then end up in
like knee on belly. So I kind of teach against that a little bit. I don't like my throws to finish with my foot back on the mat. I want my throw to finish with my hand on the mat. Whatever the throw is, whether it's like Osotogari, you see how my hand goes to the mat? So I could fall with them in transition, rather than I throw him and I caught my balance on my back foot. That separation a lot of times, if you learn your throws like that, your throw's not gonna work. Because you're building in a stop to your throw, whatever the throw is. So a lot of times with my leg going up, whatever it may be, that's my transition. And now you can find like whatever cool things, their movements you could follow. Rather than like, ooh, I'm safe. Because it's never that safe and easy. They're gonna hold on to you and do a lot of things where you don't want to hit your head, so you want to bail on them and go to the mat. Rather than like, ooh. That throw's probably not gonna work. Unless it's like, kata, you know. Any other questions? Yeah.
Real quick, so you said you do a lot of throws. How are you getting to that position? Is it when they already have the underhook, or are you like giving it to them? Or?
I could lead a little bit to get to an overhook easier than going to an underhook. Like, people fight for underhooks more than overhooks. So a lot of people are more willing to just give up an overhook. Like, it's okay. Like, because of the hierarchy of positional dominance, underhook supersedes overhook. Overhook's more like tricky, I feel like. It gives people a false sense of security. So a lot of times, I'll go like 2-on-1. And now, there we go. I have like a good setup to get a less dominant position. You know, if I'm just being like safe about it, I'll just like reach into it and find how I'm like, you know, using my overhook offensively, right? And a lot of times, offensive overhooks are more judo-esque, like giving up head position for posture, rather than battling for head position. Like, it's hard to use my hips and legs with my head burrowed in there. But 9 times out of 10, they're gonna likely burrow their head, which is good. Because now I can use my hips and leg without the threat of him grabbing my legs. Because I have 2 hands on. Like, if he tries to shoot or like level change, it's like very difficult. You know, I can find how I'm gonna use my feet and legs. So it's okay to give up position. A really like successful JV wrestling coach will tell you otherwise. But, you know, this isn't wrestling. So it could be a little trickier. Gets me in the right mood, ready to roll, ready to teach, motivated, loose feeling. My aches and pains seem to dissipate over the course of the next 20 or 30 minutes. So I enjoy the ride.
You all right, man? I just got some bursitis in my knee.
taking these big shots. But
Yeah.
you got some nice knee pads. You got
Well, yeah, I got some knee pads for you. Let me check. Yeah, these things have been a long time coming. I've had a lot of knee injuries, so I think these have been designed and manufactured to meet all your needs.
I was thinking, like, if you're gonna get a knee pad, you probably want it from a guy who's taken 1 million knee impacts.
Oh, definitely.
Right?
So,
Some high school wrestling.
yeah, we got one on. We're ready. Nice. Fits well too.
Some spring in these.
Yeah.
So, conceptually, I guess what a methodology of like looking, like, cause I'm transitioning, I'm one of those guys where I've learned quite a bit, but like not really found a way to dial it all in. Like, yeah, what am I supposed to look for? Cause like, there's a foot, I want to throw my hip. I'm like that guy that wants to do something,
Yeah.
but I don't know why. Or what's the reason for? Like, what's
Okay, let's break you down. You're right or you're lefty?
I'm a fighter, so I stand this way.
Yeah. So learn everything that way.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's what happens to most folk style American wrestlers that enter into MMA. Identity crisis is the first thing, because 99% of them lead with their right foot and they shoot a lot. Not great at turning their hips. They sprawl, they shoot, they sprawl, they shoot, they grind. But in striking, they got to lead with their left foot. So they have to like separate these disciplines, even though they have so much like foundational time spent in the trenches with their right foot forward, but their power side isn't their left. So a lot of them learn how to strike really well with their left leg, and when it comes to grappling, they go into autopilot right leg lead. So other than maybe Dominic Cruz, who had that problem but started switching his stance for striking, and it looks like this kind of like dance where he's a righty and a lefty, it's because he solved that problem. I'm not saying you gotta like Dominic Cruz the problem, because that's a lot. But like, I'll just do everything both sides. Some people, 5-time world champ, but you lead with your left, do everything with your left leg lead. Get used to like touching the feet with your left, shooting with your left, striking with your left foot forward, being able to like be offensive with this side of your body. And if that doesn't feel comfortable after a while, the two hemispheres of your brain, your striking and your grappling. That's like the cookie cutter answer I'd give you. And if you're over like 35, it's tough to like learn a new side. It's like it's tough to learn a new word from another language, but like a whole new side is tough. So yeah.
You were talking about how the headlock is almost as good as a takedown.
Oh yeah.
What's a great counter to get out of it when they have your head and arm underneath?
So like I'm underneath too, and he has a front headlock.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He sprawled on you, my head and arm chop.
Yeah. So whichever side. My first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come up to this tricep with my near side, not this far side, here, and I'm gonna rotate and I'm gonna short drag, just like that. So I want to be able to like pull his arm down and in. You're gonna feel like I can't reach his tricep; it's so far away. You just gotta reach like, not with your elbow going high, but just with your hand. Yeah. So if I'm facing the hole, it's hard to get. But if I start to turn in, almost like a sweep single, like if you learn this movement's pretty easy. Even if he's like, right, upright or down low, right in here. That'll be my first and foremost. Like get my head into his sternum rather than, you know, if I might sit through and do some kind of like whirling dervish too, but more head under, it's safer here. Dragging it through. It's like, man, one time Max Schneider did that to me right over there, and my face hit the ground so hard, it was like one of those like flash concussions. That's how good the move works. I mean, you could get God or do it. Doesn't matter what level, man. I felt I had position. Boing. So like feel that like handle right here. So that love handle and kind of creep that back. That'd be it. Like a sucker drag is what we call it.
When it comes to the throw by, I find myself a lot of times like someone will have a real heavy collar tie, and I'll just be like
bumping hard and
yeah,
stuff.
and all I'm doing is like wearing myself out.
Yeah.
And so
There's a methodology for hand fighting. It's its own wrestling love language, man. It is like 80% of college wrestling where it's not even moves. It's a lot of movement. Where if we're hand fighting in here, it's a snap, it's a fake, it's another snap, it's an elbow pass, it's a fake, It's being able to stay on that head and clear. If he gets his hands on me, like snapping that off, pushing him, like all that stuff is built into wrestling until you have like moves, right? So just like one thing is never gonna be the answer. So like if he gets his hand on me, one hand collar tie, like he's saying, and I can't bump it, elbow pass it a different way, like get that thing by you, right? Get that head down, fake, snap. Good hand fighting, you're never on one position for more than like a breath. If you watch like high level folk style college wrestling, it's not like, unless it's heavier weights, it's never like constricted to one thing. It's like fluid where you're passing an elbow, he faces you, you snap with it, fake, find an underhook, it doesn't work, you snap. Like, it breaks people without much. And that's a hard one to learn. You can learn it in segments where every time you post, I snap, post the other arm. I snap, post both arms. I snap, post again. I pop up, post again. I elbow pass. And it becomes like a organic frequency you kind of can react to, whether you're on them or they're on you. It's just hard to do without redundant reps. It's hard to like eco that, because it's just, you're gonna end up just holding each other. It's hard, you gotta like actually break and come back, slither from one position to another, and break it all down in like separate areas where then you could fuse it together. Yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
So this is a question that my judo coach wanted me to ask you. So
Okay.
he asked, besides rondori, is there any other form of training you would recommend to help prepare students for tournaments?
Definitely. This is where eco comes into play. Like as far as picking a side, I think both are necessary. Like understanding what the goals are within constraints of like a module, like where one person has a certain grip. You have 30 seconds to throw them. The other person has 30 seconds to survive, where it's dominant grip, two-sided, whatever. For judo, we're speaking. So different than nogi. Nogi is like positional changing and variability, whereas judo is like, you want two hands on, and you want to be confident with two hands on. It's longer than them. Because the more you're like gripping and ripping, it's like negative. If you could just get two hands on and control and coast, and they try and do something and you could sidestep it and use that energy, that would be my best, like, everyone do classic judo for a month and just get used to that. Because there's like stability and you get like calm on your feet. You're not like always like ADDing and then wigging out, because there's so many variables that you just short circuit and then you pull guard. It's just two hands on, just stay on your feet. Let them do everything and you just relax and know that you're righty, your right hand's on the lapel, your left hand's on the sleeve, and you could ride out anything. That's like, then I think you could go into nogi more confident that like there's less catastrophic injuries just because you're more comfortable moving on your feet. That's what I've noticed the most, especially in like the jiu-jitsu space. Just get a little more comfortable on your feet and it's going to be less traumatic. So with that, within the judo space, I would say get comfortable with the grip you want and learn how to throw from it. Whoever you're going against, there's like the one constraint. Get comfy, two hands on, lapel, sleeve, foot sweeps, big throws, little throws, transitions to the mat. Try not to bail every time they do something. Every time they move, don't let go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What percentage of the offences when they have the leg on the inside of a single leg? Like when you do a bit
Show me the
of
two river.
I'm going to show you guys it's actually going to be a
Yeah,
like here,
for sure.
some defences.
Defenses, my goal would be to kick out. So how am I gonna kick out? I'm gonna turn my toe in and kick out would be my first goal. But you can't just do that because he's gonna take my back if I do it prematurely. So you gotta be able to like frame, create some space and either kick out that way, or if his lock became like that, where he let goes of it like he did, I'm out. Like pants on. You know how you like, you're putting your pants on, that's kind of how you want to approach that. I'm not the biggest fan of going to the head and pulling them in, because that means your top heavy and your back leg is sweepable, where you're like pulling them on top of you. So I like space until I see they let go. If they start letting go, I could like go back to that head. Like Chu did. He was on this and then he went to there. So that's like my cue. But there's not a lot of big offense to like counter unless you like don't respect their ACL, MCL, or PCL by doing like flying scissors or kanibasami, these different like higher risk moves which exist, so I'm not like hating on it, it's just where many injuries occur. So it's like, I like the safety approach. Like, look to get them square. Look to get that leg weighted or kick out, depending on them. But yeah, just basics there. When I was younger, I would have said funk roll. Do like a big dive under their legs and come out the back door. But now it's like, whew, I might break my back showing that. Yeah.
What would you say the key to off-balancing across every grappling discipline is?
That's the best question of the night right there. And I'd take this back to some old scrolls that Jigoro Kano helped write. So there's 8 like off-balance points, right? So when we're dealing with like a human, like how to pull them forward is 1. How to pull them forward and to an angle is 2. Just stay your feet. Moving laterally is 3. Moving back into an angle is 4. Moving straight back 5. Back into an angle 6, 7, and 8. Those are the best ones. And I like to use those in conjunction one after another, rather than doing one of these angles 3 times in a row. Like push, 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 push. No. It's like 1 forward, 1 back and in, 1 laterally. Those kind of things, pulling to be able to find an off balance. Like getting them to move almost like Jeremy Stevens said it the other day. I was training with him and he was like, it's like being in the spin cycle of the washing machine. Just like it's never like sure-footed. By pushing, by pulling, by elbow passing, by angling, by finding out without even using attacks, how to kind of like get them unsure of their steps. And that's where it's easier. So I use that as like my guide, my primer, like forward angle, lateral. And then I could kind of like, is it gi, is it no gi? What are like the constraints and how am I going to make that happen with like a lapel pull or an underhook pull? Like those things, it's the same across the platforms of like gi or no gi. But yeah, good question. Those 8, man, it's, I guess you could equate up as being 1 too, obviously. With no-gi, that's not as common. It's hard to like get an up unless I totally own underneath his hips. Whereas in a gi, I might like pull up. And now I could like get someone on their toes. So those are important notes to distinguish between the disciplines. Gi versus no-gi. Any other questions? Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
Would you say you use your judo to set up your wrestling more, or the other way around?
Man, it's kind of against who I'm going against. Always like that varies. If someone's got like really good wrestling, I don't like try and meet fire with fire unless like I'm maybe angry or something. I'll like use judo more. Like I'll give up more than I'll try and fight for. Like it's more reciprocal than like you're trying to pound me like I'm a nail and you're a hammer. I'm trying to do that to you and we're doing that to each other and someone gets hurt. So it's more like if I feel someone's tendencies to be more lower center of gravity, heavy front foot, I'll give them what they want a lot of times and set them into traps where I could use my judo. Where it's like, again, I'm driving with a false sense of security that I could kind of rotate and turn. Like I said, this like movement is a safety net. If you have like loose hips and you could turn them, you could like be able to throw a lot easier than having to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because your hips don't know how to like rotate. That's hard for world-class wrestlers, folk style wrestlers mostly, because it's more like I sprawl and I shoot, and it's like this forward and back thing. For judo, you kind of learn to like rotate your torso and upper body to like bring someone behind you. And it's like balancing those two together, where if I feel two's gonna shoot and go for body locks, I'm probably gonna try and throw him. Now if he's like a little bit more lackadaisical and upright and light on his feet, that person is harder to throw. They are. Like I could use Joseph Chen. Upright, good posture, really hard to throw. But if you get to his legs and you start to kind of like muddy the waters, you could find more openings. With that style, a little more upright and light and easy going, because they're nimble. They could like step out of things rather than like, I own this mat. Oh, no, I don't. It's like their false sense of security as being a wrestler. But yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
Like to transition into submission from Teguruma?
Teguruma submission. I don't know if I have one. I think that throw is a submission. It's like just like a big hand wheel where you just spike someone on their dome. I mean, it could be a nicer, easier throw for sure. But like into a sub, man, I don't want... Okay, the best place I would do Teguruma from would be from a rear body lock. If I can't like get my hips involved, a lot of times I'll like rotate to either side and go to like a meat hook and and like some groin, you know, for lack of a better term. So just like throwing it. So it's hard to like, as you see all this, like just get your momentum and kind of like slide into place. But if I'm gonna toss someone with Teguruma, it's hard to just like, man, I mean, that's something to think about.
And I'm like, oh, open for Teguruma, and I go for it. And with momentum, sometimes...
Actually, we've been working on that transition here from a front headlock. So like, say we're on our feet, and I use whatever like front headlock methodology to get him down. This is my favorite Teguruma position. That's a good way to, I like to kind of snap in and slide to this like hammy. Now from here I just run it and I lift it. And I'm in like, you know, chin whip, or I could probably find out how to use this position a little bit more efficiently for subs. But yeah, good. You just mentioned Teguruma, so I'm like, but yeah, like a modified hand wheel, like Te is hand, Guruma wheel. So in judo, like literal translation is a hand wheel. So if I'm in a front headlock and quad podding, very common, quad pod, I slide to an angle, go to this knee pit, and I run with my hips facing up, like a little engine that could feet in a circle. Now you know, however, you want to slice this for transitions, that's on kind of you, right? But yeah, that's how I do that hand wheel, which is really effective to like flatline someone from a front headlock. I love that one. Go to the hip. Yeah. And go to the legs. Other questions? 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
When would you use that? This is a little bit harder.
Wrestling? So either from a 2-on-1 or underhand. Most commonly, people do this, right? This is like the space. I'm going to use this against them rather than here. So how am I going to use this foot sweep? Either laterally, like take that one step, kind of guide them into this movement to get your foot sweep. That'd be number one. More realistically, I'm going to create a circle. I'm going to step towards the foot I want a foot sweep and circle away. Like kind of rotate so we're both facing the same direction. 9 times out of 10, most like aware human are going to follow you. They're not just going to stay there. Like that. Like then, okay, I have an angle for other things. So as an uke, they step and circle with you, and I'm looking for that light foot like we practice, like that feel of like 1, 2, 3, like 1, 2, 3. Right now, it's like really easy guide down, right? And then if we're gonna go like the most nuanced, harder one that took me like 20 years to learn probably, where I'm back stepping and front stepping. So do you see how like, I'm not looking at his foot, but you see how my foot got to that position? So I'm not like just going to his foot. I'm cutting an angle forward. So I'm making like a 90-degree right angle, that movement. And I'm able to sweep his back foot. So I'm like loading in with my back step, fencer step, and then stepping hard to sweep the last one. That move's the best when someone's exiting from the underhook, which is like everyone, right? They're like, get me out of here. So it's hard to just chase them and try and kick their legs. So you have to like cut over an increment of time with that movement. So 2's just moving backwards like everyone in the world would from an underhook. I get an underhook and I feel 2 moving backwards. Keep moving backwards 2. Yeah. So that's just, don't stop, right? That would be how I would get to that foot, that right angle. Right. Yeah.
From that same underhook position, when 2 has the inside head position, what do you like to use off balance to get to a snap?
Yeah, so I'd use my far foot. I'd use this foot to sweep. Kind of like that. Like, try and lift this up so that leg becomes a little lighter. That. So it's like, this is my lever to make this side lighter, or even drive in a little. That, like. Okay, so to get that head down, I need this foot to move. I can't just like go out and reach for it, or I'm gonna give up an angle. So I want to like be able to like, with my back foot, doing like a kouchigari technically, like a minor inner reap, kind of like that. Kind of like the same thing we practiced, but today was like there. But now it's like back into that angle so we can snap down. Maybe one more question, if there is one. Well, yeah.
Underhook, how do you, what do you do if somebody does a mirror lock?
So I like to keep my angle either here or married to my ribs. So if I have an underhook, it's really hard for him to mirror lock. Do you see my elbow? I'm not like lazy, unless I'm doing an arm drag. If I'm doing an arm drag, I'm mirror locking myself. Just as a one-off move, right? But if I hold this shoulder tight and I bow my elbow back, it's really hard. Like it's really hard to pull my elbow in. If I'm like bowed outwards. Now, you know, throw bys and like use what they're giving you by, you know, does not compute, it's not working, and then you have offense. But if you're lackadaisical about your underhook, yeah, I can totally see it happening. But if you're bowed to, are you ready? Right there. You feel my elbow being out? Good? Well, awesome job, everyone. Hopefully, you know, it's hard to go through a lot of work and what I've learned in my life in a 2-hour time frame, but hopefully it kind of piqued your interest on some things you normally don't train. As far as using your feet a little more and understanding, like, am I a righty or a lefty? Those are more important than anything. And the most important thing we did today is take some falls, I think. Because, like, realistically, that's where you're going to burn the most energy. On your feet, nervous about falling. And if you quell that inner voice of, like, it's going to be, my knee is going to, whatever, you're going to be a lot better off. Like, going with things rather than, like, tensing up and falling wrong and then being out for 6 months. So, like, succumb. I take a ton of falls still. And I'm better off for it rather than, like, fighting against something that's, like, destined for failure of my body. So yeah, that's like my way of preserving my judo spirit is like give way. Like one of like the ultimate rules in judo is like mutual benefit. If he earned it, give it to him, especially in training. Like you didn't lose, especially in jiu-jitsu, you didn't lose for getting thrown. So you could still build your base, get up, reverse it, whatever. So go with it. Great job, everyone. Thank you guys so much.